Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Syncretism Society Virtual Academy. And my name is Mehmet. And in today's lesson, what I'll be doing is introducing you the Astrological Decans. So we're going to talk about what a decan is and how it works mathematically within the zodiac wheel. And also we're going to concentrate on the two main systems, which will be the Chaldean system and the Triplicity system. And then also what I want to do is I want to show you a few pictures from one music cover and a game, which is roulette, which is, I've already explained, I've already done a video on the roulette and the zodiac, but I want to show because it connects to a particular number in relation to the decans as well. So what I'm going to probably do, I'm going to probably split this video probably into two, maybe three videos, just so we don't cram it all into one video because it's too much for some people to kind of digest. And yeah, even for me, I prefer to do things in small parts because it's like you're building a foundation and then building upon it. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to go through some slides which I've got off various books and papers that people have written. And the reason why I do this is not because I don't know about it myself. It's just that I could explain it to you, but when you're reading from something, it kind of goes smoother and it's almost like I use it almost as a script. So yeah, I just want to thank all the people who have shared those papers on the internet and who have written those books in relation to the decans as well. So ultimately, the reason why we're looking at the decans is for people who have been watching my videos and have been seeing stuff on reading the birth chart. Once you know about the decans, it gives you a lot more understanding of how you can look at your chart and be a bit more specific, if that makes sense. Once you understand the decans and which decan a particular planet is in what particular sign, and then it will kind of add a bit more spice and flavor to it, if that makes sense. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into it. So just bear with me for a moment. I already have it open. So click this, make it bigger. So right, so this is the wheel of the zodiac, and going all the way around is split into 36 sections, which are what we call the decans. So as we know, each sign is 30 degrees each. So we've got 12 signs of 30 degrees, which makes 360 degrees. But within each sign, it's split into another 10 degrees within each sign. So there's 3 decans within each sign. You can almost look at it as the cardinal, fixed and mutable of each sign. You can look at it that way, but it don't necessarily work that way. But it's just yeah, the beginning, middle and end. So this outer white circle is the triplicity system of the decans, and this colorful circle is the Chaldean system of the decans. And obviously they work on 2 different principles, which is what I'm going to talk about a bit further on in this video. And yeah, obviously this is just the symbol of the signs, this is the symbol of the ruling planets, and this is the elements of each one. So you've got fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, as you know. So yeah, there are 36 decans in the zodiac wheel, and also there's different kind of systems, but like I said, the main 2 I'm going to concentrate on in the first couple of videos will be the Chaldean system and the triplicity system. There's also a decan system which relates to medical astrology, which we can also get into in further lessons, and there's a decan system that relates to specific constellations which are around each sign. So for example, In Pisces, you have Andromeda, which is a decan. In Scorpio, you have Ophiuchus, which is a decan of Scorpio. But before we get into that, we just want to look at the basics of what a decan is and talk about the two main systems. And then in following videos, we can kind of brush up on that. So a decan in astrology, let me just make this slightly bigger, or no, I'll leave it like that. In astrology, a decan is a subdivision of a sign. In order to give a fuller interpretation to the zodiac signs, ancient astrologers subdivided each sign into periods of approximately 10 days. These divisions are known as decans or decanants and cover modification of individual traits attributed to minor planetary influences, which temper or blend with the ruling influence of the period. The 10-day spans are somewhat arbitrary in order to follow for the 5 and sometimes 6 extra days in the year beyond 360 days and 360 days required for 36 decans. In modern times, however, the assignment of the decans has changed considerably. Each sign is allocated a triplicity consisting of 3 of our 4 classical elements, air, water, earth, or fire, and is therefore subdivided into 3 equal parts of 10 degrees each. These parts are referred to as decans or decanants. Each decan of a sign is assigned to rulership by a planet ruling the sign and the secondary rulership by the planet of the ruling decan. So again, this modern section it's talking about here is talking about the triplicity system of looking at the decans, whereas the first system is the Chaldean system. So moving on, the principle of decans can be applied to any of your planets or other points in your horoscope. So to explore the terrain and have fun discovering just how unique your birth chart truly is. Let's say your Venus is in Virgo at 12 degrees. Virgo is an earth sign, and the degree would fall in the second decan, which, when we follow the natural zodiac, brings us to Capricorn. Mercury rules Virgo, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Suddenly, we see how this Venus placement has both qualities to it, and that it may explain why, if you have this Venus placement, when it comes to love, you're more conservative and logical than most. In matters of money, you may be incredibly astute business person with this Venus placement. The Capricorn flavor as a co-ruler to your Venus in Virgo offers valuable additional insights. So this is kind of just giving you an example of a particular blend and how it might pan out in one's chart. So let me just move this slightly up so I can read this. Again, this is just another summary of decan from a different astrologer. To understand the decans, you must first understand that each astrological sign occupies 30 degrees of the zodiac. For example, this is from an astrologer called Rachel Lang. So Lang explains for a total of 360 degrees, 12 signs each are comprised of 30 degrees. Decans are then created by dividing those 30 degrees into 10-degree increments. Your decan depends on where your birthday falls within the 30-degree spread. Approximately the first 10 days of your sign is the first decan. Approximately the second 10 days of your sign is the second decan, and approximately the third 10 days is the third decan. Each decan has a unique footprint, so to speak. Within these decans, we assign planetary sub-rulers to the sign, and those sub-rulers give us additional layers of symbolism to apply your birth date within your sign. Lang explains if you are born within the first decan or the first 10 degrees, approximately 10 days of a sign, you embody your sign to the fullest. Your planetary sub-ruler is going to be the signs ruler. So we'll get into that once we move in, and I'll show you the diagrams of what that all means. Just move on. So yeah, this is just like I'm showing you. Obviously, I did a video of this of how I syncretized the zodiac wheel with the roulette. So I've got a whole video on this subject. If you go to the archives of my video, you can, it's called the roulette meets the zodiac. So what I'm showing in this little section here is how particular things in the outside world are connected to the 36 decans that it mentioned and I mentioned earlier. So yeah, we have in the zodiac wheel, in the roulette wheel, should I say, the 36 numbers, which correlates with the 36 decans of the zodiac wheel. And then also it came to me while I was getting this ready, anyone who's into hip hop and rap know that the Wu-Tang Clan's first album was called Enter the Wu-Tang and the 36 Chambers. So these, you can almost see the decans as the 36 chambers of the wheel. And interestingly, I was looking at the word tang, and it relates to Adam or Atum, because that or Utang would be Adam as well, because N and M are interchangeable. So that tan would be Tam. You can make that, you see the word atom within the word Wu-Tang as well. So yeah, so this is a chart of the traditional Chaldean rulerships. So for example, within Aries, the first decan is ruled by Mars, because obviously Aries is ruled by Mars. But then the way the order goes for each one is the order of the planetary orbits, and it goes backwards rather than starting from Moon and going up to Saturn. It goes from Saturn to the Moon and then back to Saturn, and as I will show you here. But obviously, because Aries is ruled by Mars, the first decan starts with Mars. So you have Aries' first decan is ruled by Mars, the second decan is ruled by the Sun, and then the third decan is ruled by Venus, and then the order just follows on. So then once you get to Taurus, the first decan is Mercury, and then the second decan is Moon, and then it starts back at the beginning for Saturn, and it just goes Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. So you can see that there's a pattern within the Chaldean system. It's based on the planetary orbits, Saturn being the longest and the Moon being the shortest, and it just keeps repeating through the zodiac wheel. Oh, it also says it here as well. Notice that the rulerships follow a repeating pattern. The Chaldean order of the planets, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. Planetary order in which the Sun stands in the center of the continuum, with the planets between the Sun and the Earth on the side of the outer planets on the other side, reflected the perception of the speed of each planet's motion seen from Earth. So yeah, so this is what the Chaldean, when you split the Chaldean decans into 3 sections of each sign, you can see how it works. So you can see this is Aries. So I've actually got a clearer picture of it here. I'll show you this one. So yeah, we've got Aries here, and it goes round this way. So you can see 1, 2, 3 of each sign has 3 decans, and each decan has a planetary rulership. So like you see, it goes Mars, Sun, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Saturn. Hold on a second. I think this is the wrong diagram, excuse me. So Mars, yeah, sorry, this is the correct one, my bad. So I'll show it to you on this one. Yeah, so you can see it goes Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, and then it starts from Saturn. So Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, and it just goes all the way around the zodiac. So this is the Chaldean system of looking at the decans. So let's just do a bit of reading just to give you a bit more insight to how it works and why, just a bit of like historical info on it. So the first is based on the Chaldean order of the planets. This is the order of the 7 traditional planets according to the speed. Saturn is the slowest, then Jupiter is a bit faster, Mars faster yet, followed by the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon, which zips through the zodiac the fastest. The system the Golden Dawn uses. To assign the planets to decans, we start with the first decan, Leo. This is the time when the rising star Sirius announced the induration of the Nile to the ancient Egyptians, when a star can be seen rising prior to sunrise, i.e., the star visible in the pre-dawn sky while the sun is still below the horizon. It is called the heliacal rising. Sirius's heliacal rising indicated the growing season was coming around the beginning of Leo, so the Golden Dawn kicked off the sequence of the pips with the 5 wands. Saturn's ruling the first decan of Leo. After Saturn comes Jupiter, so that the planets rules the second decan of Leo. The 6 wands, Mars the next third decan of Leo, and so on. There is a hiccup with Mars ruling both the last decan of Pisces and then the first decan of Aries. Here where it says 10 cups, this is also correlating it to the tarot system, which there is also a system in relation to the decans which correlates with each tarot card. We could also get into that into a particular video. I actually have a diagram of it in my presentation. So yeah, so moving on. So this is the modern rulership, which is based more on the triplicities, which is the element that is to do with the sign. So for example, the way this system works, let me just read what it says briefly, and then I'll explain it in more detail. Modern astrology upstates the rulerships of decans or faces, at least important of the essential dignities representing 1/15 of a planet's overall strength. The decans and their rulers assigned as follows based on the concept of modern Western astrology. So for example, the way it works let me go to a chart just to show you, it'd probably be easier for you to understand. Right. So with the decans in relation to triplicity, which basically what that means is each decan within a sign is related to the other signs with the same element. So the planetary ruler will be in relation to the other sign. So I'll show you that now. So here we have Aries. So if we look at the first ruler of the first decan of Aries, the planet ruler is Mars. So the first 10 degrees of Aries will be Aries, Aries. So then the second 10 degrees, we have the planetary ruler of the sun, because then what it does, it uses the other 2 signs of the same element for the next 2 decans. So then if you're born, just say in the second 10 degrees of Aries, you'll be an Aries Leo. And obviously, because the sun rules Leo, the sun will be the ruler of this decan. And then the last decan of Aries is ruled by Jupiter, because the last fire sign is Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So this is how this system works. It connects more to the other signs of the same element, if that makes sense. So for example, I'm a Scorpio. So if we look at the decans of Scorpio, you have Scorpio, which the rulership is Mars, and then we have Scorpio Pisces, which the second decan is the rulership of Jupiter and Neptune as well. And then if we look at the last decan of Scorpio, it's the moon, and I'm born on the 19th. So that would make me a Scorpio Cancer, because the moon is the ruling decan, the ruling planet of the last decan, and the moon is the ruling sign of the water sign of Cancer. So this is how also why all Scorpios won't be the same and all Sagittarius won't be the same, because obviously we're all born within different decans. So each decan has its own flavor, if that makes sense. So I'll just read about this system and how it all works. So bear with me. On the other hand, there is also a traditional decan systems, or decans according to triplicity. The triplicities are the 4 groups of 3 signs of the same element. For example, the 3 fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, which is what I was just explaining, form the fire triplicity. Using this system, the rulers of each decan from microcosm that reflects the macrocosm of the signs that share the same element. For instance, Aries is a fire sign ruled by Mars. The other 2 fire signs are Leo, which rules the sun, and Sagittarius with Jupiter as the ruler. That's the macrocosm. In the Aries microcosm, Mars rules the first decan, referencing Aries. The sun rules the second decan, encapsulating Leo, and the third decan reflects the ruler, reflects Sagittarius ruler Jupiter. So that's what I was explaining. So if we look here, you can see Mars is the first ruler, Sun is the second ruler, and then Jupiter is the third ruler. So that would be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But then when you go to Leo, it's always a double. So whichever sign you go to, so if I start at Scorpio, it will be Scorpio, Scorpio, and then the list carries on from which would be the next one. So the next water sign after Scorpio is Pisces. So that's why it's ruled by Jupiter. And then after Pisces, the next water sign is Cancer. So that's why the third decan is ruled by the moon. So again, it's just knowing the combinations and knowing the orders of where the signs come, where you can understand what decan is what. What I'll do actually, you guys can pause this and read it yourselves, because I don't want to go over myself, because I kind of explained this part before I started reading it anyway. So what I'll do is I'll pause this part. You can pause this part and just read it through yourself. Let me go to the next part. So again, yeah, this is just showing the 2 systems. So this would be the traditional system of the Chaldean system, and this would be the modern system of triplicities. So because as you can see, the way it works actually, if you so this one goes by the order of the planets, and this one goes in relation to the elements. So yeah, so for example, Virgo, you have Virgo Mercury, because Mercury is ruled by Virgo, and then so that would be a Virgo, and then the second decan of Virgo would be a Virgo Capricorn, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn and is an earth sign, and the last decan of Virgo would be Virgo Taurus, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So like I always say, if this might seem a bit intricate and a bit complicated to people who haven't looked into this, but like I said, if you've ever got any questions, always feel free to message me and ask me, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, this basically corresponds with how each particular planet ruling a particular decan will influence you. But what I want to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and what we'll do is we'll go into the next part, because like I said, I don't want to kind of cram too much in to one lesson, because if it's something you don't know, the decans can be a bit, oh, why is this here and why is this there? It's kind of something that you will understand once you grasp the basic foundations of astrology and which order the signs go in and which planets kind of correlate with which particular elements within the sign. So yeah, it's this is kind of just, like I said, adding a bit more spice to your chart and trying to, for people who want to get a bit more deeper, because you can also use the decan system is also very useful within medical astrology, which I'll also show you in coming videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video and I hope I made everything clear. And yeah, until next time, I'll catch you soon, guys. Peace, love, and blessings. I'm out. Peace.